The alt-right pipeline is not new, nor did the internet invent it. The alt-right pipeline starts when you're born and you're labeled as a boy or a girl. And then when you're given all of the rhetoric growing up as a boy, teaching you that, oh my God, you're so much better. Boys are they're smarter, they're stronger, they're the providers. That's all alt-right bullshit. Women watching these fucking Disney movies about these princesses and these princes that'll come save them as long as they're pretty and docile and subservient. That's alt-right bullshit. The thing is that propaganda is being fed to y'all, me, everybody, constantly, and since we're born. Not only that, a lot of people who are fundamental parts of our culture, these people who make our soda companies, who write our laws, and especially niggas like Disney and even Henry Ford, who built the automotive industry in America, they were fucking Nazi sympathizers. And I think most people don't understand that our culture functions to make people who want human rights to exist broadly the minority. The reason that the alt-right pipeline has been so effective is because the alt-right pipeline existed far before fucking AOL. And you can mark it as something as the Southern strategy, but the justification for hatred, the justification for slavery, the justification for the wars in the Middle East, those are all the same ways, the same systems, the same strategies, including Israel, on how people manufacture consent for these fucking racist pieces of shit. There is no alt-right pipeline that you can avoid because racist Nazis exist within our culture and want other people to be exactly like them. So they target video games, they target movies, they target fashion, they target art, sometimes by themselves, sometimes literally with the government's help. And this rise in alt-right bullshit is definitely a fucking subversion of a government psyop, because our government has been fiending on turning the next generation of white fucking racists into the most virile Nazis you can possibly imagine. That's why the internet exists, invented by the government and was given no regulations. It's so not only can these secret governments communicate with each other, but what has been happening for the past 20 years, just like the fucking Politico young Nazi Republican group chat, they've been doing that since AOL, since the invention of private group chats, and even before then. The only person who is going to stop the alt-right pipeline is you. Read. I remember I posted a quick little video talking about manufacturing consent, and I had a person say, I don't want to know about their fucking ideology. You're a fucking moron. One, manufacturing consent is by one of the most leftist progressives, Noam Chomsky, one of the least Nazi-fied figures you could ever see. And the entire point of that book is understanding how the content that you watch on a daily basis and the culture that you consume manufactures your consent for our global foreign policy and its heinous actions, and that leaks into our domestic policy. How many times have you heard of a fucking 12 to 15-year-old black boy get shot, beaten, or lynched, and the fucking people on Fox News and OAN write in their headlines and their articles calling that person a grown man? But when a bunch of 20-year-olds and a bunch of 30-year-olds get caught being fucking Nazis in a group chat, JD Vance calls them little boys. That's the alt-right pipeline right there. It is a function of our culture to turn people into fucking Nazis. And I'm sorry, but Nazi was never a fucking exaggeration. In 2000, in 2010, now, Nazi was never an overt exaggeration. You motherfuckers just didn't want to do the research on the people that we were talking about. People like fucking Richard Spencer, people like Milo Yiannopoulos, fucking Kanye West, Nick Fuentes, and y'all niggas saying like, where did all of these people come from? These niggas had a fucking dinner with Trump in 2022. Are we fucking serious? The alt-right pipeline is a function of culture. It is embedded in our culture, and our government funds it. Why do you think the same dumbass COD game can be reworked and re-released, get fucking millions and millions of dollars of funding, and is quite literally just a fucking way to normalize the American regime? Why do you think the same fucking game can get released year by year and the cost for that game is millions upon millions of fucking dollars? But the moment a fucking indie title makes a smash hit and makes like fucking 25 million fucking copy sales in a month, they get shut down because they're not being fucking funded. I signed out of my YouTube account, and the first 3 videos that anybody just not even logged into YouTube sees is Tucker Carlson, a podcast involving Nick Fuentes, and some other bullshit right-wing conspiracy stuff. People have been alt-right in this nation for a really long time, which is why I fucking hate the Democrats, because they successfully tricked y'all into believing the mask of compliancy that this fucking nation obviously isn't on and was never on. And now y'all all are scrambling to be like, oh my god, is that an alt-right pipeline? Oh my god, is that an alt-right pipeline? When America is the alt-right pipeline. If you are born here, you have to do some fucking deconstruction on what this country actually is and what the purpose of this country actually is. That's why I knew that Hassan and Ethan Klein their relationship wasn't going to last, because every time that Ethan talks, he talks in a good guys versus bad guys American exceptionalist way of thinking. And talking like that makes you politically ignorant and racist. Because half the time the bad guys that you're talking about are like just brown people who are getting carpet bombed by the United States military for actions that the United States military probably caused. And that's what I brought up COD for, because COD has been this system meant to normalize a lot of young, rich, white people's idea of war for a fucking decade and a half now. This is why y'all need to read, because just being aware of individual pipelines isn't going to save you from the alt-right pipeline that is living in America, especially if you're poor. If you don't understand where these ideas come from, if you don't understand how these ideas develop, then you're just going to be a loose fucking nut in a house full of squirrels.